Welcome to a pivotal moment in the world of broadcast as we proudly present the Men's Mental Health Show featuring the renowned Larry Mabry in collaboration with the Maassen Group. This essential exploration of men's mental health wouldn't be possible without the invaluable support of Rainier Avenue Radio World. Now, let's dive into this crucial conversation with Larry Mabry and the Maassen Group. Your mental well-being matters. Here's Larry Mabry.
Hey, welcome. How's everyone doing on this beautiful Monday, August 12th, 2024. I guess my mindset is on October. I guess when I started the show about almost a year ago now. So anyway, so today I wanted us to kind of look at how do we fire up the spark of the child within, and basically think about, a lot of times for us men out here, we're out here taking care of the honey-do list. We're taking care of our personal goals. We're working out, kind of working on church and things of that nature. And sometimes, we're in the honey-do mode, if that makes sense. The list, taking care of that. And it's like, how do we get to a point, where we take care of that little child within, right? And this has kind of been on my heart. It's so funny. I have friends from all different walks of life. And as I communicate with different friends, a lot of them are like, man, I thought you were, I'll say, oh, I'm 52. And they're like, man, really, man? I thought you were like 40 or, 35 or whatever. And I'm like, why do you think that? Like, man, because, you kind of hip, kind of young and that type of thing. And it just kind of inspired me to kind of talk about that. Like, why, certain people, you talk to them, they're 52 and it's like they have this older energy, right? Like they're focusing on retirement and they're almost like ready to pack it up, right? And I have some tennis buddies I play with. They're all a little bit older, but it's like they have that young spirit. And so I wanted to kind of address that today. How do we kind of, get caught up with that young child within, right? And some things I want you guys to think about is like, what's your focus, right? Are you focusing on kind of the future? And I'm not saying that, you don't need to kind of take care of your finances and kind of have some goals and things of that nature. But I would just encourage people to kind of live in the moment, right? Just live in the moment. And what does that look like? Well, sometimes you may have someone hit you up, call you up and say, hey, let's kick it. And, you look at your schedule and it's all booked up. And sometimes you need to say, forget the schedule. Let's do it. Right. That's important because life kind of passes us by and we kind of look back and we're like, well, where did it go? And so it's important to kind of be in the moment. Right. And as you kind of stay in those moments, you find that, you kind of keep your youth or at least kind of honor the childhood. Right. And do things that's more childlike. Right. So, and I'll just kind of give a tip. So I was basically hanging out with a friend a couple weeks ago, and we ended up going to a place out in Redmond. And right next to that spot, it was a karaoke spot, right? And so it was a little late. I personally, I wanted to do karaoke, but the line was so long that I didn't have the opportunity to get caught up with the karaoke. But I enjoyed the karaoke. I laughed. I had some fun. There were some old school hits that they played. And, it really got me into just nostalgic, just remembering my youth. And so what are you doing to inspire yourself from a youthful standpoint, right? When you're waking up, are you thinking about the bills? Are you thinking about, man, I got to, take care of this list? Are you sitting back and saying, you know what? I'm so grateful today that I woke up. We take so many things for granted. And so I just want to take this time right now to just send a shout out to you guys and say, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate, you guys, just kind of listening and let me know kind of what you think. I want to put a shout out here for our friend Fresh Juice, who kind of shout out for the show. So thank you, bro. Appreciate that. And, it's like, take time to acknowledge those people and give them flowers while they're living, right? A lot of times, there's funerals and we get sad and we go and then we spend time with the families and grub and that, and we say, oh, I remember the time. It's like, did you really acknowledge that person while they were here, right? And so, basically acknowledge people now while they're here, and enjoy those moments, because you don't really know what will happen tomorrow. We think that the sun could rise tomorrow, but maybe it won't. Right. Here in Seattle, we definitely know some clouds will, right? So, but my point is, make sure that we acknowledge people, and we acknowledge ourselves, and get caught up with the funness here, right? And so I've been going on these hikes, and I don't know if you guys know, there's a pretty cool hike in between Renton and Issaquah. It kind of, I want to say that Issaquah Renton Road. Man, if you can partake in that, I would definitely recommend. I've been taking a look at it, and I'm kind of handling it in portions. And so I park there, right? I go there, hit it, because it kind of goes uphill. I'll go to a certain portion, come back. It's like, okay, I was able to get this far. And then the next time I go a little bit further. Now, what's really interesting though is it's like the kid in you, right? The little challenge. You know how when you're a little kid, someone give you a challenge. Yeah, I mean, you can't do that. And you're like, no, I can, right? And it's like those types of challenges that you kind of challenge yourself. It's like it's the kid in you, right? And so what are you doing that's challenging you, right? And sometimes, we get frustrated when someone challenges us, but actually, it allows you to be creative and just kind of come out with that skill set that was left a little dormant, right? And so as we tap into that child within, we're able to kind of seize that and let it just kind of come out, right? It's really, really important. And so for me, I've been personally working on cooking. And I mean, it's been interesting. I mean, it's been some interesting dishes I've made. Some chili, some turkey chili. Been making some different fish dishes. I don't know if you guys like tilapia. I've been getting caught up with that. And just kind of exploring, that little inner child within. And for those other viewers have been checking out, I wanted to kind of shout out too. I've been playing tennis too, kind of doing a little stuff with that. Somebody just reached out to us. What does that say? Cheap viewers on. Oh, hey, what's up? Appreciate that. Appreciate the shout out. I'm curious to see, what are you doing to ignite your little child within, right? So reach out to us and kind of let us know, what are you doing? Lately, I've been playing tennis. And it's really funny because, the body sometimes is not as agile as it used to be, but that's like a little motivator for me, because I'm like, okay, I got to get back in shape, because I got to be able to get to the tennis balls, right? And so I was hitting with some younger cats, and I was able to do pretty well, but I realized that I still need to kind of work out a little bit more, so I'm a little bit more active. But the strokes were still there, and they were kind of surprised, like, oh man, he kind of got some strokes there. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it hit a little bit harder, but I was still kind of able to maintain. But again, even if you have those challenges, still push through it, and tap into your child within. You may say, well, why is that beneficial? I mean, what's the importance of that? Well, I will say this. I've noticed for myself that, when you playing or tapping into the child within, or that spark within, then you tend to like have a more relaxed outlook on life. And I feel like the stressors kind of tend to like melt away, because you realize that life is not that serious. Like there's so many better, cool things out here to get caught up with, rather than the drama and focusing on bills and the stressors in life, right? Those bills are going to be out there regardless. And it's like, when you roll out here, it's like, why are we here on this earth? It's supposed to be to experience, to enjoy life. And the only way you really enjoy it is you have to kind of like harness it and just like embrace it and kind of be a kid again, right? Right. For those individuals, men out here who have children, it's like, how your son or daughter like acknowledges something for the first time, you get so inspired. You're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I remember being there. And I would say, kind of play with that, right? Play with the newness of those situations, and kind of see how they are, right? And so going back to the hike, I explored the hike, and this is the part that's really interesting. I pull up into the hike, and there's like 20 cars there, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna see somebody on a hike, and so I go on a hike, right? And like, I want to say 10 minutes in, I'm like, I don't hear nothing but birds, and I'm like, what's up? So I go all the way up. Well, I want to say I go up about maybe 2 miles. Notice I said up, right? Because it's literally like you zigzag going up. So I go up about 2 miles. And I'm like, dude, like, is there any civilization out here? And so, because I'm thinking, okay, all these people park, but where are they? So at that point, I kind of reached like my limit. I said, okay, let me go back down. And when I head back down, lo and behold, there's like one dude that's like behind me. And I'm just like, okay, there's civilization. So I get to the car, and guess what? Like maybe one or two cars like had left. And I'm just like, man, this is crazy. And so, but check this out. I want to go back and check it out again because it made me think like, man, okay, all these people putting in work, right? And I didn't even see them. So like, how much further is it, right? Again, that youth, right, getting caught up with that. And I feel like after that experience, I got something to eat. But in my mind, I was thinking, man, I want to like venture off further, right? And get caught up with that exploratory vibe. And that's something I want to bring out too. Like when you are in that spark of childlike type energy, you become curious, right? And I feel like sometimes once we get caught up in our own particular thing that we're doing, sometimes we lose that curiosity. And so now I want to look at different hikes. I still want to explore this one, but I'm open to check out more hikes, right? I want to see what's up with different hikes. I still want to kind of feel like, okay, I've mastered this one because I feel like right now, I want to kind of check it all out and then kind of come back and say, okay, I've conquered you, that type of thing, right? But think about a kid, right? When a kid falls down, what do? They jump back up, dust themselves off, and then they go out and start playing again, right? And so, why have we lost that? Have we lost that? And so, kind of, I had to ask myself, like, okay, the cool thing is the weather's looking nice. It's like you kind of want to play certain sports. I want to explore different things. Back in the day, I was pretty good at painting. I want to kind of get caught up with that. If anybody knows any places, hey, holler back at me. Let me know what are some good places. I know when I was in Michigan, there was a place, I think it was called Painting with a Twist. I don't know if it still exists out here, but basically it was a spot you would go to. They would kind of give you a canvas and kind of draw out like the outline, and then you would just kind of paint in there. And it was cool. I was the young lady I was with at the time. We kind of went together, had a little wine, we get caught up. And it was really nice because after you're done, you kind of see your painting and like, oh, this is cool. And then you could just kind of hang it up. And it allowed you to kind of get caught up in your creativity. Right. So that's something I'm interested in doing. Another thing that I've been looking into doing too is bike riding. One of my other friends, they ride bikes. And so I actually have a bike, but basically when I moved, I need to put some air in the back tire. But that's motivated me because now I want to get the air in there and I want to start riding because I also noticed there's a lot of trails that you can ride on, right? And I felt like, okay, that's one way I can work out, but I can actually go further because when I'm tired, you could just stop and just let the bike roll through. And so that's something I'm looking to kind of get caught up with. Riding on my bike, walking, kind of working out a little bit more, playing a little bit of tennis. And one more thing that I'm interested in doing too, if somebody can help me with this, is skiing. I was speaking to a friend of mine about that. The cool thing about Washington is you can go to other places higher that actually always has snow. And so I'm kind of open to that. But they said that basically if if I do it with them, that they probably would not want to do it with me because I'm a new person. And I'm like, okay, cool. But those individuals that are open to like helping me learn that, I'm open to that. And you guys chime in and let me know what are some cool things that you like to explore and kind of get caught up with your inner child or that inner spark within. And so the reason why I'm bringing that up is because like the excitement of the newness of something is always inspiring, because it's like exploratory. And what I'm also noticing is it helps me kind of get more caught up with nature as well. Because I noticed when I came out here, I said, hey, I told myself I'm going to spend more time with nature. And I have been spending more time with nature. but man, there's so much more to offer out here. Also whitewater rafting. That's something I'm really, really interested in doing as well. So a little scary, but I'm definitely interested in checking that out. So, but anyway, what are you guys doing to kind of get caught up with the spark within yourself, right? Are you doing gratitude journals? Are you taking the time to do some things that's fun, that's like maybe back in the day you did, right? Can you think of something like back in the day that you did that's like, man, why aren't I doing that anymore, right? Were you golfing back in the day and you notice that the last couple of years you haven't golfed? Were you playing bowling? Were you doing bowling back in the day and you're noticing you're like, man, I'm not bowling like I used to, right? Maybe going for walks and you find that you're not really doing that like right now, right? Tap back into those things that really gave you joy, right? I actually like badminton. I used to play that, as well as backgammon. We used to play that with my uncle. And also I was playing dominoes, which is a really cool game too. And so I like to go to the movies too. Sometimes I take myself to the movies, but I'm always open to get caught up with that. But think about what are some things that you could do to kind of spark like something different, or to kind of come out with a little bit of a challenge to kind of help push you to the next level. Why is that important? Well, let me tell you some of the benefits of that. So recently, since I've been doing that, I've noticed that I'm noticing more things about myself that were things that I really enjoy, right? And I think sometimes as men, we kind of get out here and we people please. And unfortunately, that kind of takes a lot of energy away from us. But when you pretty much kind of put yourself on a pedestal and you say, you know what, I'm going to really, really take some more time to kind of get to know who I am from a child perspective, I think what ends up happening is now you are like a little bit more focused as far as putting your boundaries out there. You kind of see aspects of yourself that you're like, man, I didn't really know that I was really good at this, or that, you know what, I'm really interested in learning more about this, right? And also you get to meet more people. You get to kind of see the different parts of the city. For those individuals back in the day, I actually did a lot of acting when I was in grade school. And recently I met a gentleman who was we kind of vibe. He's another life coach. And he was telling me about a situation where one of his family members was on a stage. It's called Acts on Stage. And for those individuals that know, these are young Black and brown individual children here in the city of Kalamazoo from all over, that a lot of these gentlemen and young ladies will probably see on Broadway, or I would say in Hollywood, because they're so talented. And I've been checking them out for many years, but I'm bringing that up, and I definitely recommend you guys take a look at them. They'll be in Ben Royale on August 23rd through the 25th. So make sure you guys check them out. But I'm putting this out here because, like, as I see some of them, it's a musical show that they do, and as I see some of the talent, it like inspires me, right? And so I'm putting that out there because sometimes, you could see people, or you hear music, or you see something, and it just kind of invigorates you and just kind of gets you like inspired, or remember the time when you were in high school, or remember the time that, you were excited about something, right? And sometimes, like I said, as men, we get out here and people kind of get us away from our dream. And I think it's important to kind of be re-inspired, reinvigorated, so that we don't forget. And so, but if we don't basically nurture it, then it will die. And so it's important for us to constantly like put things around us that kind of helps us remember, the dream and the things that we really want to accomplish in life through that spark. And so I'm putting this out here because there's a couple shows they did, and I was just moved by it. I think I may have shed some tears because the concepts and things they cover are so powerful. And then these are all just kids, like I said, from 8 to 18, right? And just very powerful. You can see they put their heart and soul into it. And it's like when you are listening to a song, or you see somebody and you feel that heart. I mean, it resonates with you, and it just kind of like steps out to you, and you're just like, man, this is what's up, right? Or if you listen to a beat or song or something that helps get you through that day, it's like, yo, I felt the lyrics. And we all have that spark within us, right? It could be, you dropping some knowledge on somebody and helping them through a hard time, right? But where are you getting your inspiration from, right? It could be, you basically buy lunch for somebody because, you just wanted to, but not realizing that like they may not have had the money, and the fact that you looked out for them now it inspired them. And so I'm putting this out here because it's like if a lot of us out here are inspiring one another and we're kind of going from that spark, imagine where we would be like as a society if people were like coming from their inner truth and they were like operating out of that spark, out of that youth, out of that excitement. Right now, I'm not saying we go out here and get crazy with it. Obviously you have to be respectful and that type of thing. But I mean, there's certain times where, you do have to kind of let loose, right? And just kind of play with it and explore it, to kind of, see the spark within. And so I like to kind of explain it. It's like, cooking a meal. There's a time where things are going to get a little bit messy, right? And then there's a time where things kind of come together, and then you have, a beautiful meal. And it's a similar type of situation when you're exploring that spark. And so think about like, what are you doing, to kind of inspire yourself every day, right? Because I know some people have goals out here and some people are just kind of going blindly. But like, think about like one thing that you can do for yourself today to kind of get caught up with that inner spark. And so these are some suggestions. Making sure you wake up early with gratitude. I would suggest maybe getting a journal and, just maybe starting small, maybe starting with 7 to 10 things that you're grateful for. A lot of times we take things for granted. The fact that you got a job, right? We can take that for granted, especially if we've been there a while. The fact that you woke up, we can take that for granted, right? If you got both your parents, right? We could take that for granted. If you got friendships, people who have your back, right? If the fact that you have a house or you have a place to stay in, right? And the reason why I'm putting this out here is because as you focus on the things you're grateful for, then what happens is the universe does a really cool thing. It basically gives you more of what you focus on, right? So if you're grateful for your health, you're grateful for the love that you receive in your life, you're grateful for the cool relationships of the people that's nourishing you, then guess what's going to happen? Then you'll start receiving more things and support that's helping you because your priorities and what you focus on, you kind of track. But also too, you can also ask the universe for things that you may want, right? So if you're noticing that, you kind of have a blah, blah type of life, maybe ask for a few things, right? 1 or 2 things to kind of help you get your spark within. And I knew when I came here from Michigan, that was one of my things. I wanted to kind of have a little bit more of a spark. And so I've been doing it a little bit more every year. However, I want to kind of inspire somebody out here, right? What are you doing to have that spark for yourself? And so you'll notice that as you kind of spark things within yourself, you'll inspire other people, right? Maybe, you thought about doing that rap song, and it's okay. Even if you need to record it on your phone first, or just do a YouTube video, right? Anything you need to do to kind of spark that thing within yourself, right? Personally, something I'm looking to do right now is I want to do karaoke myself. And, if anybody's interested, let me know. I know there's a karaoke spot in Renton, right over there by that the Washington licensing place. There's like a little spot there. I found it by accident, and I'm definitely interested. And hey, maybe we can meet some people there. We can have a good time and just laugh and just, come up with some old school songs and just have a good time, right? And so I'm putting that out there because as you're able to play with that little kid within will kind of nourish you and, help support you and kind of give you more ingenuity, give you more creativity, give you more play, more insight, and, inspire other people. So think about that, right? All right. So we're almost getting towards the end here. I just want to say, hey, make sure you guys do certain things for yourself. It could be hiking, it could be biking, it could be a journal, right? Make sure you have some gratitude. What are you doing to have fun, right? Something fun, and try something different. And so, like I said, one of the things I really want to try that's a little bit different is a whitewater rafting. So I don't even know if we're still in the season, right? I don't know. But hey, if you guys know, chime in, let me know. Hey, what are some whitewater rafting places I can get caught up with? Or I've seen individuals like with the little paddles that they've been out there in the water. I'm interested in that. But the whitewater rafting, I think, is a little exciting and kind of like a little scary, but I think it's still to be fun. But I don't think I could do that by myself. I think I got to do it with a group of people. But that'd be fun. Anyway, you guys reach out, let me know what are some things that you can do to kind of get caught up with the little child within yourself, right? Feel free to reach out to us here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Also too, I want to put a shout out to Rainier Avenue Radio for supporting the show and allowing me this opportunity to speak my mind and connect with some people in the community. Very thankful for that. Also too, today is Monday, so make sure you guys I want to put a shout out for my next guest that'll be coming up next from 6 to 7. Better Together, Living Powerfully. Make sure you guys check her out. Dr. Tracy Harrell on Mondays from 6 to 7. And think about what I said earlier as far as what are you doing to spark that little child within yourself. Okay. Also, too, one more thing, too. I wanted to share this story real quick before I roll out. So, one thing that I would recommend for people if you are in a situation is be okay with the uncomfortable comfortability, right? And I think that's the part I think that people kind of struggle with. Like when you're in a place where you're uncomfortable and you don't want to really face the comfortability or being uncomfortable, like I would say push that envelope a little bit. And so this one situation, basically, I didn't really want to go in this particular place, but I ended up doing it but I had to push myself. And I actually ended up meeting some pretty cool people from that situation. And then as I reflected, I was like, man, had I not gone, I wouldn't have met those people. And so I just want to say, face those things that are a little bit uncomfortable. I know it's going to feel a little bit safe, right? Or unsafe, but I would say push yourself a little bit because you'd be surprised at the opportunities that come your way. So we're kind of at the end of the show here now. I want to say I appreciate you guys. I want to send you guys some love and peace, and I'll see you guys next week. Deuces.